Welcome to another episode here at the Masculine Health Solutions podcast. And today's episode is just going to be a continuation from where we left off last time in regards to the device-free PE workout, which basically just means that, you won't be using any devices for the first 6 months. Right? I wanted to revisit the first 2 months as I did get a little bit more organized, something more concise and a little bit more detailed. So I did actually write an article in regards to this question. So be sure to check out masculinehealthsolutions.com for the article in full with all the details that you will need to do this exercise program. All right, let's jump in. All right, guys, welcome back. And like I was saying before in the introduction, today's episode will just be a continuation of basically, the device-free PE program, right? I've had this inquiry a couple times, and a lot of people just want to know, hey, is there any way that I could get started without dropping, $100 or $300 on any device? And the truth of the matter is you totally can, but you might have to spend at least $5 on some type of lubrication because you're going to need that. There's no way around that. But other than that, you can pretty much get away with, being almost device-free, right? So, being completely device-free with this exercise program, you will just need the lubrication to Jelq. And that is all that you will need to get started. You don't need any magical potions. You don't need any magical pills. All you need is some time to be a little bit, persistent, dedicated, and disciplined in your approach, right? So let's jump right in. But here is one thing I added to the article, which I don't know if I touched on it last time, but I do feel like it's extremely, extremely important to mention. And the reason why I want to mention this is that a lot of guys will find that, hey, I'm doing everything perfect, but I'm screwing up in one area of my PE workout. And that usually tends to be post-edging, right? So as we talked before, edging is essentially just masturbating without reaching orgasm, right? So the goal with edging is you basically want to get that massive pump, you want to get that good blood circulation going into your erection, but you do not want to come, right? The reason is that when you come, you're basically ejaculating all kinds of valuable PGE1, zinc, magnesium, potassium, vitamin B12, and so much more. All these different things that you need to basically, keep you nice and hard, keep your testosterone levels up. It's basically your life force, right? And it's one of those things that we do see in sports or guys going to war, or, it's when you need that testosterone, everybody talks about that sexual energy that you do need. And for us men, we want that sexual energy on high if we're going to do some type of competition sport, or if we were going to go back, back in the day where, we're going to go to war, it wasn't a whole lot of lovemaking right before you were going to go into battle. And the reason for that, though, a lot of people thought it was a myth, is that, it kind of does make you weak. It takes away from that life force or that sexual energy that gives you that extra edge, right? Granted, a lot of people will dispute this, and a lot of people will say, no, it's not necessarily true. But bringing it back to PE, I think it 100% is. And the reason for that is that I can say from my personal experience, I would so I would basically edge for about 5 to 10 minutes, post workout. But then again, I was also struggling with porn, watching porn. You watch one video and then next thing you're watching 5 more, right? So that was one of the worst things. And why I talk about when you do want to stimulate yourself, hey, use your mind. You can control that a million times easier than seeing a whole bunch of images and videos popping up in front of you. It's going to be a lot more difficult to control that. Hence the reason why so many young men are addicted to it, right? But that's a story for another day. The truth of the matter is that for myself, I kept on coming post-workout, right? So what that basically led was to me, I would see a difference in my sexual energy, but what I would see the biggest difference when it came to PE is that, the next time I would go for my next workout, I didn't have as much energy almost, my vitality was almost taken from me, by myself. But that being said, is basically what I felt is that when I would come, it's like that energy or that good, that X factor that you have when you have an extra hard erection, and you definitely know that you have that sexual energy to, if it was engaging in sexual activity, you would definitely feel the difference. And even, well, I guess I was doing it by myself, but when I was edging by myself, I could tell that my penis was not as hard as it needed to be, compared to the time that I did the exercise without coming the day before, or whatever the window of time was before. I could definitely feel the difference. And what I would see post-workout, which really affected me and really made me look into this subject, was the fact that I was turtling a lot, which basically means your penis is retracting. So instead of hanging heavier and lower the way it will and the way it does when you edge for 5 to 10 minutes, you edge for 5 to 10 minutes, you stop, and you will see that your penis will hang a whole lot lower, and you will feel. The one thing that I would say is the drawback from edging is just that sexual energy libido overload that you are going to experience. And for me, that was kind of reminiscent of what it was like, when you were going through puberty. And I remember when being like in grade 9, where I'd have no reason boners all day. I had no idea what I had a boner, I'd just be staring into the stars and bam, my dick was hard for whatever reason. And the reason for that is that there's growth occurring, right? And basically what I realized when I stopped coming and, I didn't have orgasms post-workout, is that I was getting no reason boners the whole day. And even now, when I do a workout, right, I'm obviously a lot better at it because I'm a lot more experienced. But that being said, I was experiencing those no reason boners again. And the reason for that is that my body was basically recovering, making sure there was good circulation, making sure that all those micro tears were being taken care of, right? And that was good, nutrient-rich blood making its way in there and just going, basically making sure that the healing process was occurring, right? So that's the one thing that I'm going to tell you guys to, just one thing you got to be on top of is do not bust nut when you're post-workout, because it will just definitely kill your gains. So just don't do it. Obviously, you got to be careful, because I know edging is tricky, and you know what? You may make some mistakes, and you may, make some messy mistakes along the way, but you know what? That happens. And I guess the best thing from edging that I will say personally was that, you're able to control yourself a lot more when you're making sweet, sweet love. When you're having sex and you're having that good sex, you can really gauge yourself better and you can pace yourself better. And, it's one of those things that it will just help you in a myriad of ways. So, guys, I would definitely recommend do not come. Do not come post-workout. I know it's hard, but that being said, you just got to be very conscious of it. And like I said, do not use porn to stimulate yourself. Obviously, if you need to or you want to, hey, I'm not going to stop you. But, if you do struggle with that and you do want to, put that behind you, definitely check out the article on the website. I added a couple links to guys who may be struggling with porn. All right, but enough of that. Let's get into the actual workout itself. So like I said, month one... I want to revamp and just talk about, I'll go a little bit more in depth, but talk about why I chose these exercises. And I kind of, changed it from what it might have been in the last podcast. So the first thing that I would do, as always, is warm up for 5 minutes. Make sure that your warm up is solid. Make sure that your warm up is good. So like I said before, rice sock, take a hot shower, something along those lines. Next, you want to manual stretch your penis in every direction, and you want to hold for 30 seconds, guys, right? So you want to make sure that you hold it. Some guys do mention using baby powder, to get a better grip. If you want to do that, hey, by all means. Usually if your penis is dry enough, you should be good, but hey, to each their own. If you want to roll like that, by all means. Next thing you want to do, you want to stretch your penis straight out and do 10 Kegels. All right, so you do 10 Kegels with your penis straight out. Obviously, it's going to be completely flaccid when you do it. Next up, you want to do the stretches, followed by the Kegel exercise twice. So you're just going to make sure you do 2 sets of what was mentioned before. The next thing that I would do would be Jelk for 100 reps, right? And then you would edge for 5 minutes, warm down for 5 minutes. So like I said before, with the edging, just be careful. Granted, I know this is the first month, and for some guys, they may feel like it looks a little bit too easy. or they say, hey, you know what? If you do get comfortable later on, you're like, jelking, man. I feel like I could get a better pump, or I want to edge for longer. By all means, guys. By all means, you just got to gauge it accordingly. Recommend about 3 to 5 days a week, right? But you just got to make sure you gauge it accordingly. And you don't overload your penis so you're overly tired as well, right? You don't want to do that. You want to avoid that, and you just want to basically milk that low-hanging fruit for as long as possible, because that's when most of your gains are going to be made. Later on it will slow down, but if you can avoid that for as long as possible, it's the best way to go about it, guys. All right, month 2. So you got month 1 in the books. It's time to bring up the reps along with the training days. So again, like I said before, I did say 3 to 5 days for month 1. Obviously I wanted you guys to stick maybe with 3 days a week, but if you feel comfortable, you can go 3 to 5 days. I'd recommend the same thing for month 2. 3 to 5 days a week would be optimal. And again, the biggest thing you want to do is pay attention to your body. If the physiological indicators are good, then continue moving in that direction. Like I mentioned before, physiological indicators is good morning wood. Good morning, wood. You just got to make sure that your wood is good and hard when you wake up, waking up with good erections. Feel if your erections just aren't up to par. Like if you're about to make sweet, sweet love with the old lady and your dick isn't really firing up the way it should, then maybe, hey, that may be a cue to, kick it back a notch as far as the workouts go. But if you feel that, hey, your penis is hard as a rock, you're good to go, and these exercises feel like, hey, you might be able to squeeze in another set, another rep, by all means, guys. By all means. Just obviously don't do too much, right? But that's the key to success, man. That's the key to success. But first, for month 2, you want to warm up for 5 minutes. That would be the minimum. 5 minutes. If you want to do a little bit longer, hey, all that's going to do is help you out. So definitely 5 to 10 minutes, right? And again, we're going to do manual stretches. You're going to manual stretch your penis in every direction and hold for 30 seconds. Make sure your penis is flaccid, guys. You don't want to be stretching your erect penis. That is an exercise, but I would not recommend that in month 2. And, I don't really do it at all. Next up, you want to stretch out your penis straight and do the 10 Kegels. Again, you will do the stretches followed by the Kegel exercise twice. You will then jelk for 200 reps. That's 200 reps, guys, 100 more than last time. And now what I would recommend is edging for 10 minutes. If you screw up and you bust a nut edging, listen, guys, it happens. It happens, right? It's just part of mastering your body, mastering yourself, mastering your sexual energy, right? So it might get messy here and then. It's not the end of the world, right? But you just got to be conscious about it and just be better next time. I mean, listen, guys, it's like building anything else that you have ever built in your life. It's the exact same thing. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and you may stumble along the way. Right? But 10 minutes, that's what you want to aim for. If you feel that you get to 7 minutes and you just can't hold it, then I would recommend you stop. Just stop cold turkey, do the warm down, and just relax, and you will see that your penis will hang more, a lot longer. Your flaccid hang will definitely be longer. It'll hang heavier, and it'll look cool when you stand in front of the mirror like, ooh-wee, look at them gains. So definitely, guys, if you feel that you are going to bust a nut, definitely stop. Next up, I would say in month 3, you should be progressing quite nicely, right? So you should be, now that you've done the exercise a couple times, you should be feeling like, hey, you know what? This is a lot easier than what it was before. You do want to focus on taking your time to get the most out of each exercise. Again, I recommend training 3 to 5 times a week. For a lot of guys that I've talked to, they usually feel quite comfortable at the 3-month range to do about 4 to 5 times a week, right? And again, like I'm going to say, throughout this whole process, just listen to your body. But let's jump into month 3. First, you warm up for 5 minutes. Next up, you will do the manual stretch for your penis. In every direction, hold it for 30 seconds. Stretch out your penis straight out, and this time do 20 Kegels. Guys, do not skip out on the Kegels. They are very important for your pelvic floor muscles. So again, if you want to control your orgasm, you want to hold your pee in if you're an older dude, you definitely got to do your Kegels. There's only positive benefits from doing Kegels, guys. So definitely don't skip it out. I know I did for the first 3 months when I was training. And then I learned how good they were. I overdid them. And my PC and BC muscles were just fatigued. And I could not last longer than 30 seconds. And I did not know why. But we'll get into that some other day. But definitely just do about 20 Kegels, guys. That's all you got to do. Just make sure you hold it for a good, I'd say about 2 seconds each time. Good, solid hold. good solid squeeze when you do your Kegel, guys, but only do about 20 right now. And this time, do your stretches followed by the Kegel exercise 3 times. And then next, I would recommend just doing the normal Jelk for 350 reps. So again, guys, the same Jelk that was explained last time. And just make sure you use your oil. Make sure you're pushing that blood right into the glands. And just make sure you hold it. Sometimes if you do feel like you got both hands on, like right when your alternate hand is at the base of your pubic, or the base of the penis, right at the pubic mound, and you just want to hold it for 1-2 seconds, it's actually an erect squeeze. You want to throw it in there just because, you're like, hey, I like the expansion. By all means, guys, by all means. But for month 3, Jelk for 350 reps, edge for 10 minutes, and warm down for 5 minutes. If you do want to warm up for longer, by all means. All right, in month 4, in this month, we will introduce the famous Spock-looking V-Jelks. They are a fantastic addition, which will definitely add to the intensity. There is an awesome program that I did when I was starting. It's called JP's 90-Day Program. And he actually had V-Jelks right from month 1. For me, I found that, with the guys that I've worked with and guys that I've talked to, I just want to add the variant 3 months in, because I feel like when you throw something different at the body, your body will react in the same way that, like, okay, you've built that foundation, but you're going to throw something else in. I just find that the body reacts quite well. And with the guys that I've talked to, they've talked about, it usually adds to bigger flaccid hang post-workout. They see a little bit more gain. So that's kind of the way I do it. And my approach, like I said, I want to make as much newbie gains as possible. Because the first 6 months, a whole lot can happen. And in this case, since we're doing 0 devices, we want to milk it for all it's worth, right? So the important thing here is that you will be conditioned from previous months, which will make adding another exercise to your workout more intense, but the advantage is that you will have that solid foundation, guys. So now you should be training 4 to 5 times a week if you're not, right? And if you feel like it may be a little bit too intense with the new exercise, cut it back to 3 times a week, right? Just gauge it according to you, but I would definitely say 4 to 5 times a week. You should be built for it now, man. You should be conditioned, bro. So definitely try that out. You can also throw in some light stretches on your off days. I would recommend that as well, just because it keeps you healed up in an elongated state, right? So that's kind of why I'm a big fan of extenders. And honestly, if you are going to get an extender, you should definitely roll with the Phalocin Forte. It's about $300 and something, so it is a little bit pricey. If you do want something cheaper, you could check out Total Man Shop's all-day stretcher, or you can check out the VLC Tugger, which is around $60. There's a whole bunch of different stretchers that you could definitely rock, or you could, use a silicone sleeve, which will basically just keep your penis in an elongated state, and that one's around $30, right? So there's different ways to go about it if you do want to, if you do want to get a device. I know I was going to talk about devices in this exercise program, but hey, I just lied. It's a great addition to have, just for the fact that it'll keep your penis in an elongated state. But that being said, if you don't want to, use a device, then you can definitely try out, just stretching your penis out on your days off. So again, since we are not going to be using devices, I would definitely recommend just on your days off, do some stretching, do some light stretching. If you do feel that on your days off, you can throw in a little bit of light jelking, by all means, you can definitely do that as well, guys. Definitely do that as well. But let's talk about the actual workout for month 4. So first, you want to warm up for 5 minutes. That's the minimum, right? If you want to do longer, I always welcome that, and it's always a good idea. Next up, you want to manual stretch your penis in every direction and hold for 30 seconds, right? Next, you want to stretch your penis straight out and do 25 Kegels. Then, this time, you want to do the stretches followed by the Kegel exercise 3 times. All right, guys? So that's 3 times. Next up, you want to jelk for 350 reps. After that, I would do the V-jelks, right? So V-jelks for 100 reps. And then you would edge for 5 minutes. In adding the new exercise program, I don't want to edge for too long, because for a lot of guys that might be, too strenuous. Or for a lot of guys too, it's like, hey, you've had your penis in a semi-erect state for maybe anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. And then on top of that, you force it to edge. A lot of guys, some guys have a hard time with that, and they might just bust a nut. So we want to avoid that and just edge for 5 minutes. The point here is not to ejaculate, right, guys? So we want to focus on making sure we edge with a purpose. All right? Post-workout, you want to warm down for 5 to 10 minutes. And if you want to warm down for longer and do some stretches afterwards, hey, by all means, as long as they're nice and light. All right, month 5. Month 5 will only involve more reps. The only thing for this segment of the program is that I would recommend about training 5 times a week along with light stretches on your days off. Again, if 5 is too much, try doing 4 and just do some light recovery, stretch sessions in between on your days off, right? So first, again, warm up 5 minutes. That's the minimum. If you want to do more, manual stretch your penis in every direction and hold for 30 to, I'd say you can hold it from 30 to 40 seconds now. You definitely want to get a little bit more from your stretches. Next, I would say stretch out your penis, or you could stretch your penis straight out and do 25 Kegels. I would say you could even try different angles, experiment with different angles, and maybe hold it straight out, hold it straight up, and hold it straight down, right? So north, south, and fully straight out, and do 25 Kegels in each position. And then do the stretches followed by the Kegel exercise 3 times. So I would do that 3 times, and then graduate onto the Jelks for 400 reps and V-Jelks for 200 reps. After that, I would edge from anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. But for now, I think 5 minutes should suffice. If you do feel that you can do more, by all means. And last but not least, want to warm down for 5 to 10 minutes. All right, guys. Month 6. It's the last month of the device-free PE workout program. So congratulations, you made it to month 6. The first thing I would say that, you should probably be doing by now, but if you're not, is train 5 times a week. Do some light stretching on your days off once again. Again, pay attention to your body. Make sure that you're paying attention to cues. If you feel like it's too much, or if you feel like one exercise might be more effective than the others, by all means, guys, always listen to your body and just pay attention. You will know when you're doing the exercise program which one feels better, which one really gives you that, better pump post-workout and all that. So definitely pay attention to your body. Definitely pay attention to the physiological indicators. And your erectile quality, of course, is always a major one. So definitely pay attention to that. The first thing I would do is warm up for 5 minutes. Next thing I would do, manual stretch your penis in every direction, hold for 40 seconds. Next, I would stretch your penis straight out. Well, I'm not stretching your penis straight out. I would highly recommend you stretch your penis straight out and do 25 Kegels. Again, do the north and then do the south. So that's straight up and straight down. You will definitely feel a lot more what's known as the pullback when you're Kegeling straight up. And that's something that could lead into another workout that we can talk about later. All right, so definitely do that. So you definitely want to make sure that you pull your penis facing north and south and straight out and do 25 Kegels in each position. Next, we're going to do the between the cheek stretches, right? Or, it has another name. I just call them between the cheek stretches because that's what I thought they were when I first saw them. But basically what you want to do in this exercise is you're going to pull your penis from behind you, actually, right? And first, you're going to put it right in between your butt cheeks. It's kind of a weird angle, I know. But this will really stretch the anterior side of your penis where the suspensory ligament that you really want to pull to make the most length gains is located. So you want to do this exercise. Don't skip out because it looks funny. Just make sure there's nobody around to see you because they're just going to be like, what are you doing? So first, you will pull your penis, your flaccid penis, basically backwards towards, your butt cheeks. As you'll be basically stretching it from underneath you. Then you will stretch it. So first you will stretch it in the middle. So it's almost, close to your anus. Don't actually get all up in your anus. That's not good. And then you just want to stretch it in the angle there. You want to hold it in the middle. Then you will go under the left butt cheek. And then you will go under the right cheek. If you have issues kind of visualizing this, then definitely check out Masculine Health Solutions. This article, I'll link it to this podcast as well so you can actually look at the visuals. Don't worry, there's no nudity. I don't want any nudity on my site. So it's definitely PG-13. It just looks weird, believe me. But it is extremely effective. And it's an exercise that I wish I had known when I had first started my PE journey, right? But like I said, just make sure there's nobody around to see you, because they're just going to be like, what is this guy up to? So that's it for that. Next, you want to make sure you do the stretches, followed by the Kegel exercises 3 times, right? So that's including the BTC stretch as well, right? Or leg tuck pulls, I think is the other name. And for the leg tuck pulls, I would definitely hold it for 30 seconds in each direction, in each position, guys. So definitely do those. Do not skip out on them because they look funny. I know they look ridiculous, but they are effective. Now I would jelk for 500 reps. I would then do the V jelks for 250 reps. And again, one thing I didn't mention prior, but if you want to alternate, right? Obviously you don't have to do 500 jelks all in the same shot. You definitely could, right? You could do 100 jelks or 100 normal jelks, and then do, 75 V jelks, and then mix it up like that. Or you could do 50 jelks, or, basically 100 jelks, 100 normal jelks, and then you could do 50 V jelks, right? So you're alternating back and forth. Ultimately, it's up to you. That's just kind of the amount that I would recommend. The other thing that you can do as well, if you find that, hey, I can gauge it according to time, and usually it takes me about 10 minutes to finish this entire workout program, you could just do that and just alternate every 5 minutes, or in a way that suits you best. And if you like doing the V jelks more than the other jelks, by all means, guys. This is a blueprint, but it's something that you can definitely play around with to do something that suits you best. All right? And that's it, guys. Warm down for 5 to 10 minutes. And, like I said, this is 100% device free, except for me talking about, extenders that you may be interested in using in the future. Right? And I do want to do a full episode talking about extenders again, because they are fantastic devices, guys. They are fantastic devices. I mean, Phallus and Forte, hands down, is the best, I think, because, well, you know what? I think it's the best because you can use it when you're asleep, right? So the comfort is unreal. The only thing that's a little bit of a drawback with the Phallus and Forte is that, it may take about 30-90 seconds to put it on, versus, if you're rocking the Total Man Shop all day stretcher, it's a little bit quicker to use. And the VLC Tugger, that one takes like 10 seconds, pop on, pop off, right? Basically, it's up to you, but I would definitely say pairing an extender would basically be your silver bullet as far as making the most gains when it comes to PE, right? If you're able to pair those two, if you're able to marry an extender with a wicked hands-only program like this one, guys, you will definitely make all kinds of gains. And if you are looking for more length gains, I'm a big fan of Total Man Shop's extender, because you can use it for hanging, as well as extending. So that right there, boom. I mean, they basically got two birds stoned at once. Right? So you definitely want to go with something that suits you in the best way possible after you're done this program. But definitely, try the PE program out. And I know a lot of guys are, obviously, a lot of people are skeptical. They're like, I don't know if this stuff works, I'm used to seeing scammy things on the internet and Ron Jeremy trying to sell me pills, so I think it's all BS. Or you see before and after pictures of a white guy who ends up having a 12-inch penis that belongs to a black dude post-workout. I'm like, hey, that doesn't make any sense. And it truly doesn't. But there's a lot of scam artists out there, guys, so don't listen to the guys selling you magical potions, magical pills. Are there some awesome pills that you could take? Most definitely. But they're only going to help you basically get harder with what you already have. It's just going to improve your blood circulation. It's just going to improve nitric oxide. It's going to enhance your libido. That's pretty much it. That stuff is not going to make your penis bigger. And believe me, I know, because I spent about, oh God, I think I spent way too much money on it. I think it was maybe, I don't know. I remember the first batch I bought was like $500, and then I think I did buy it again. So maybe I spent $700 on them, only to realize that, hey, you know what? It's not all that fantastic. And then when I went out on my own and decided to buy some not random stuff, but, things like Korean red ginseng and Damiana leaf and all that stuff, it was a whole lot better. L-citrulline. But guys, another way to cheap out and just kind of avoid buying supplements as well is just get the right foods, guys. Just get the right foods. You can read more about that too at masculinehealthsolutions.com. Did write an article on that. So if you want to learn more, or if you guys have any more questions, I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know. And on Instagram, that's kind of where I'm getting the most questions. So definitely hit me up there. I'm checking that more often. All right, guys. But it's been a pleasure. And hopefully you got something you can take away from this podcast episode. And like I said before, if you do want the full in-depth program, definitely check out masculinehealthsolutions.com and just look for the device-free PE workout program. Right? So it's going to be 100% device-free. And that's pretty much it. And if you are looking for extenders and all that, hit me up. Ask me the questions, guys. I love hearing from you guys. All right. Take care. So if you want to learn more about what we just discussed today, definitely check out masculinehealthsolutions.com. Got this full article written in regard to the device-free penis enhancement workout program, right? So this is a 6-month program, and it'll have the pictures, the diagrams that you need, but it is PG-13. So definitely check it out if you got any more inquiries, any more questions. All right, until next time.